sports on a team level and individual level is all about competition. And competition mandates that you have mental toughness because you're trying to impose your will on someone else's. And they're trying to impose their will on you. And when you are in the arena, it's combative, it's confrontive. And if you're not a competitor, you can't win. Hi, I'm Lionel Hollins, and I'm with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I grew up with my mother, grandmother, 2 aunts, and 2 sisters, and I was the only boy. I started out playing baseball, and my uncle helped coach one of the teams, and then I always wanted to play. I just loved sports. I watched anything on television, and I come up in an era where, everybody needed a job. And my grandmother would say that all the time. She said, you need to quit going out there and hitting that ball and doing this and that. You need to get a job because we have bills to pay. You talk to a 10-year-old kid or 8-year-old kid, he wants to play in the NFL, the NBA, and what have you. Nobody talked about that like that when I was growing up. It was that we play because we love to play. I went to Rancho High School here in Las Vegas, and it was not normal. I mean, we had a lot of racial issues in my high school, and we had a lot of divisiveness among athletes. And when I played football, guys would be on the football field, and then the next day they'd be in the hallways fighting each other. And it was a turbulent time because this was in the late '60s, and it was a struggle. But I played basketball, football, ran track. I went to junior college in St. George, Utah, which is 2 hours north of Vegas. And I wound up being the only black person on the team, only black person in the school, and only black person in the city for 2 years. And it was quite the experience. But it was a great experience in terms of learning people and having them learn me and understand that I was a person that, once you got to know me, as Martin Luther King says, by the color of my skin, but the content of my character. And those experiences actually allowed me to move from my environment and grow and see a different side of how other people lived, and to be able to interact with anyone. I was an All-American in junior college. I was All-American at Arizona State University. I was the 6th pick in the draft by the Portland Trail Blazers, all rookie team. Next year we win the championship. We had the youngest team in NBA history to win a championship. And then, all pro, all defense, a couple of years. And beyond that, from a team's aspect, I played on a lot of great teams. I played in 3 NBA finals, and I coached in 1. And so I'm proud of the fact that most of my career was around success of the team and not just individual accolades. As I said, my first 3 years, I was all pro, all defense twice. I was NBA champion, and I hurt my knee. And I didn't think I would ever play again. And a lot of the medical thing wasn't as advanced as it is today. And so I had to work really hard to get back, but I was able to maintain a career for 7 more years without the same athleticism. And that was due a lot because of what Jack Ramsey had taught me about the game and how to play the game. And so that was a big moment for me. And I try to express to people when I talk, especially athletes, that you don't know if you're going to get hurt or not. You may have all of it going on and something bad can happen, and you have to be prepared mentally to overcome it. Also, you have to be prepared from my perspective, coming from my background, real poverty, and not having anything, and not letting those circumstances make me bitter, but using them to catapult to go and be what I want to be. Because you can't go back and change things, but you can go forward and make things different. It's all about whether you're willing to work, make some sacrifices, and make some changes. My junior college coach, Doug Allred, because of the environment that I was in when I was there, he treated me like I was his son. He and his wife, Elaine, I still go visit them, I still see them, and he took care of me. I had my teeth knocked out in the front. As a freshman, he found a dentist to fix my teeth for free. When I had my tonsils taken out, he was sitting there by the bed when I woke up with popsicles. He would bring broth over to the dorm for me. And, you know, he loved me like a son, and he treated me like that. And I respect that. And he also helped me on the court. When I got there, I was an angry young man. And being the only black on the team and having anything go on, somebody fouled me too hard, there was a fight. If they didn't pass the ball to me, there was a fight. And he always tells a story about me throwing the ball at one of my teammates, and he threw me out of practice. And he said he didn't think I was coming back. He said, but the next day you came back and you competed just like you did the day before I threw you out. And I think in learning, he told me that, you know, you can't just be angry and bitter at the world. You know, you can have a chip, but you can't be angry and bitter. And over time, I learned that. And that experience was an unbelievable experience for my growth, not just as a basketball player, but as a human being. I have 4. They're no kids, they're grown. My youngest son is 27. He's actually competing with the Jazz here this week. Families are important, and my kids support me as a coach, and they support each other in their sports. In fact, one of my sons came out here with his wife to be with his brother that is in the summer league. We always had to support each other. They went to practice, they went to each other's games, because if they have to go to your game, you have to go to their game. And it wasn't like you had a choice, but it was, and they were very close because of it. As I said before, to be successful in this league, you have to compete. And like I said, I played with Isaiah Thomas, and for a little guy, I mean, the guy was tremendous. But I also played with Bill Walton, who was tremendous. I played with Julius, who was tremendous. I played with Elijah Wan, who was tremendous. I mean, the will to win goes beyond, you know, numbers, goes beyond what they say about you. You lose yourself in the competitive battle where you're not thinking about what they're gonna say if you lose. You just don't wanna lose.